What's going on? How's it going? How is it going today? Let me see. I guess I'm going to have to reload this thing, see what happens, because it just went out on me right quick. Hey, it's me. I'm here, and going to try this again today. So it's the 23rd of February. Hey, guess what? Next week is March. How about that? Next week is March. And I am ecstatic. I am ecstatic about that. Gonna be, I think spring starts in March. I think the 20th or 21st of March is the beginning of spring. And man, talk about gonna be happy about that. Oh my goodness. Let's see, March, April, May, then summer. Yeah. I got it right. I got it right. Uh, hey, what's happening? What's going on, Ronnie? How are you? How's it going? Um, I was just sitting here thinking about spring and just, I, I just that just made me feel so much better. Just the thought of it. Just the thought of it. I've been doing good. See, I have to mention that every night because it's so unusual for me to be in such high spirits during this time of year, and I'm ecstatic about it. And and I've been a lot more active than I normally am. You know, just tickled pink about that. So what's going on with you, Ronnie? Everything good with you? Um, I'm sure you've heard about all the latest and greatest crazy stuff going on. I'm going to. I'm pretty much a grumpy old man. Damn, I didn't really think of myself as a grumpy old man, but just for that, make sure you stay off my lawn. I've been dying to tell somebody that anyway. Uh, make sure you stay off my lawn. Hey, what's up there, James, man? What's going on? How's it going? I just got called a grumpy old man. Golly, that's too much. I guess I could be grumpy at times. ah, hey, check this out. But you know what? At least at least I'm not mean to the Jehovah's Witnesses when they come to the door. At least I'm not mean to them. So, uh, and speaking of Jehovah's Witnesses, uh, check this cat out. He got a visit from the Jehovah's Witness. Check this out.
Jehovah's Witness knocked on my door last night. So I invited him in. I said, sit down. Made him a cup of coffee. I said, okay, what do you want to talk about? And he said, fuck if I know. I never got this far before.
Right. Hey, Carmen, what's happening? Ah, that's funny. Well, I tell you what, the internet never fails. Whoa. So, I was just telling Ronnie and James how ecstatic I am that we about to move right into spring, and I gotta tell you, I am so happy. I am so happy. I'm cruising through this. The internet is keeping me in good spirits. The internet never fails. Okay, the internet always wins. So, um, and And yeah, what do you mean, are we? We moving into spring. Spring starts in March. Spring starts in March. I think it's the 20th of March, the first day of spring, I believe, or 21st. You know what? You know what? I'm not even. I am not even. I'm not even gonna pay you any attention talking about how cold it is there. I'm not paying you any attention. You know, you talking about how cold it is there. It's supposed to be 27 degrees. Well, I tell you what, I'm sorry to hear that. I think shoot, it's probably 27 here now. Oh, it's 22 here. Hey, what's up, Charles? It's 22 degrees here now. So, I mean, hey, 27 degrees, what can I tell you? All I can say is wear some thick socks. Wear some thick socks. Um, well, had to cover your plants. Had to cover your plants. And it was 80 degrees 2 days ago. What? Oh, that had to be terrible. Yeah, it was kind of nice up here a couple of days ago, too. It was like in the 50s, 60s a few days ago. Hey, it is winter. And I expect, you know what? I expect March. In March, we almost always get some crazy blizzard kind of thing go down in March. We always, almost always. Sometimes we get away with it, but almost always we get some kind of weird blizzard somewhere in March just to let us know, just to keep us straight. It'll be all right for a few days, and the next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. It's 9 feet of snow outside and freezing cold. And it'll be March 30th, So, I'm always expecting that. Always. So, hey, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I'll be prepared. I'm hunkered down with good food, good spirits, Hey, and the rest will come. All right, in our latest show of coonery out there, there's a never ending list of coonery going on out there on the internet. And I just got to expose it wherever I find it. Wherever I find coonery, I got to expose it. And here's our latest example of coonery going on. Check it out.
I want to ask you about the social media post from President Trump that depicted President Obama and the First Lady as monkeys. Did you find that racist at all?
Actually, I watched the entire video, and if you watch the entire video, it was depicting many Democrats in the vein of Lion King, and the fact that they were just going to take one snippet of that and then try to paint a brush and say that all of a sudden President Trump is a racist guy, I think is ridiculous. I think people stopped listening to legacy media a long time ago and stopped trusting that fact. Here's what I know. The president has invited me to travel with him multiple times. He's been nothing but kind to my family. He's been nothing but good to me. He has been nothing but kind to my wife, and even on one campaign stopped in my wife's hometown of Maquoketa, Iowa. Does that sound like somebody who's racist? And last I checked, I've been black for my entire life. What I do is I take how people treat me personally, and I don't really care what people say about them online. I know President Trump, and he's been very good to me.
One of your colleagues, Tim Scott, said he found it racist, though. Are you surprised at that?
I mean, I thank God that Tim Scott can speak for himself. I have absolutely nothing to say about that. He's a grown man, can speak for himself. He's wrong. And I think we all know that he's wrong at this point. And look, either you believe the president is racist or you believe that he is not. I don't believe he's not. I know he's not.
Yeah, massa good to me. I don't know what y'all talking about. Massa real good to me. Massa treat me fine. I don't know what he do to the other folks, but Massa treat me real nice. I tell you what. And did you see his face when the interviewer told him his colleague Tim Scott said it was racist? Did you see his face? Because Tim Scott is who this guy looks up to. And shame on you if you look up to Tim Scott. You know. That's just it's all over the place. It's always there. It's always there. They just can't help it. They can't help it. Coons gotta be coons. Coons got to be coons. Yeah, he is brainwashed. He is absolutely brainwashed. And, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. They are definitely brainwashed. And don't mind being brainwashed. Intend to stay brainwashed. That's the thing about it. Intend to stay brainwashed. Ain't got no intention of not being brainwashed. And again, you could tell this dude all day long. You could show him example after example after example after example of the things this administration has done against black people. Literally against black people. All of the black people that were fired. All of the agencies that were put in place to directly help black people stripped out. Programs stripped out. And this guy says he's not a racist. He knows he's not a racist. Well, I guess when you sleeping with the guy, he can be whatever you want him to be when you're sleeping with him. I don't know at this point, and I'm going to think about one guy. I'm thinking about one particular guy when I think about it, and that's Michael Steele. Michael Steele used to be the head of the RNC. Michael Steele was literally the president of the RNC at one time. Michael Steele has always, since I've ever seen him, he's been a Republican. And he still calls himself a Republican. I guess he would be considered your old school Republican. But he still calls himself a Republican. And a lot of the blacks that were Republican in the old days still call themselves Republicans. Why? I don't know. Sometimes I think it's because they're looking to bring that form of Republican back. I don't know. These Republicans like this guy, these Republicans today, they so jacked up. They change whichever direction the wind blows in. You have to be nimble as hell. Because this administration flips on a dime every day. There's something, no, we ain't doing that, we doing this. You have to be nimble to be a Republican today. And I mean, you have to twist yourself in all kind of different pretzel-like shapes to explain away the things that this administration does and continue to be a Republican. You got to twist and turn and come up with cockamamie reasons why this administration may have done this, that, or the other. For example, now everybody knows what's been going on in Mexico. Everybody knows what's been going on in Mexico the last couple of days. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Everybody should know. He likes Nicki Minaj. How can he be racist? Well, I tell you what. You know, I don't know anything about Nicki Minaj other than the fact that she was in a hell of a lot of trouble with her house. She was about to lose her place to live. And she was one of the people who was in possibly in line to be deported. So, you know, she found religion all of a sudden. She found the gospel of this administration. Hey, what can I tell you? Maybe he's not racist, you know, where it come to big booty black women. You know, all I can say is he damn sure doing everything he can to tell me he is. Yeah, that is all the stuff that's going on in Mexico. Right now, for those that don't know, the Mexican government went after a cartel a couple of days ago. And they killed one of the cartel leaders. Okay? And the cartel, in response to them going after him, and apparently 70 people got killed in that gunfight. They did some shoot 'em up, bang, bang kind of stuff down there. And 70 people got killed, and the cartel got pissed. And all of the tourists in this area was told to hunker down wherever you are. Stand down, go undercover right where you is, don't come out. Because they wasn't going after tourists at the time. They were going after the government officials and burning down the town. So, while the Americans, and I'm only going to talk about the Americans because I was watching a Canadian news program yesterday, and there were a lot of Canadians in Mexico because the Canadians stopped coming to America. So there was a lot of the Canadians in Mexico, and there were a lot of all sorts of tourists there. So while the Americans that are there are scared and hiding, we had our FBI guy out there having fun. Check this out. This is what's going on in Mexico. And check out what our FBI guy is doing.
Wow, shit is getting crazy. There are fires all over the fucking city. This is nuts. Yeah. Wow, everywhere you look, we're up on the roof here. Fires all over the place. Can't even see the mountains anymore.
Now, that's our FBI director just having a blast on the other side of the planet while Americans are stuck in Mexico, possibly about to be jacked up by a cartel if they decide that all of a sudden, hey, forget it, we're going to start going after Americans while we at this. That's our FBI guy. He's over there partying with the hockey team in Milan. Oh, by the way, he had to fly there on the FBI jet that costs about $15,000 every time you fire it up. Every time you fire that plane up, it's eating up $15,000 worth of fuel and man hours. Okay? And that's just starting the damn thing up. That's not the trip. So, that's what we got in charge. Okay? That's that. Now, right now, there are Republicans out there trying to twist and turn and explain why that's okay. You see? They're Republicans out there on the airwaves right now, as we speak, explaining why it's okay that Cash Patel was in the locker room of the men's hockey team celebrating. Now, I did not know he was on the men's hockey team. You see, I never knew he played hockey. I didn't know that he was getting a gold medal. You know, I didn't know he was playing in the games this year. But apparently he is. Because he was in the locker room accepting a medal and drinking beer and whatever else they was drinking, I guess. And probably, you know, I understand he likes to do a little toot, toot, toot. You know, that's what I hear. So, that's where our FBI guy is. Now, that's crazy. What kind of FBI business is he on? That's what we got running the show. That's what this brand of Republican has to explain. And they will try all day to explain that away. And you know what? You know, there's a show that I used to like to watch, but I haven't watched it in a long time. And it is Abby Phillips. Abby Phillips has a show on CNN, and I just literally could not watch it anymore because the fact that they have so many, they have like these Republicans on that that just sit there and explain away everything that this administration does. And they will sit there and tell a lie right to the camera. They will tell a lie right to the camera. And it's like, I just couldn't watch it anymore. Couldn't stomach it anymore. So, and that's this kind of Republican. These kind of Republicans will twist themselves in all kind of knots to explain away the stuff this administration's doing. Right now, you got Trump talking about putting 15%. Well, it was 10% that night, and by the next morning it was 15%. Globally, on everybody, globally. I guess he just hell bent on destroying the planet. He's hell bent on destroying this country. And I think it's on purpose. I think this dude is literally trying to destroy this country. And the Republicans are trying to explain it away. I'm going to play a clip that was sent to me. And I knew Canada. Canada has been quietly going around the world making relationships with other countries. Canada used to be our number one trading partner. And they've been going all around the world creating new relationships. I didn't know how bad it was until I saw this particular clip, and I had to shorten it. It was kind of long. It's still a few minutes long, but pay attention. Pay attention to what Mr. Fair and Balance said. He's got a crazy name he goes by, Fair and Balance. Anyway, check this out. What's been going on behind the scenes. Now, I knew Canada had already came into an agreement with China. They're going to have Chinese cars coming into Canada. Chinese electric cars. These cars were in direct competition with Elon Musk's piece of junk, which is why they've been kept out of the American market. And I blame Biden for that too. You know, I tell you what. You know, I hate that he's ill right now because I really want to talk shit about Biden. He was a piece of work. But Canada, and not only Canada, they have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Check this out.
3 nations are currently in talks to basically cut the United States, because of Donald Trump, out of global trade. There are 195 recognized nations/countries on planet Earth. 195. 40 of them, led by Canada, banding together to just cut out the United States. So more than 1/5 of the planet working on a way to not have to deal with the United States anymore. This includes our neighbors to the north, Canada, our neighbors to the south, Mexico. This includes the European Union and the United Kingdom. This includes major Asian countries like Japan. According to these reports, and again, this is kind of all being, spearheaded by Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, what they're trying to do is avoid all of the tariffs that Donald Trump has put in place on everybody. And then, of course, they have typically had to do reciprocal tariffs, so everything for them gets more expensive because they're dealing with the United States. So all of these nations have gotten together and said, wow, dealing with the United States is expensive and it's costing us business. How do we get around that? And their solution is, well, what if we all just trade with each other and not these idiots? And that is currently what they're working on. So instead of relying on the U.S. market to sell their goods, they're going to just start selling to each other and open up new markets that previously hadn't been there. They will grow. They will expand. They will see this financial boom from doing business and trading with everybody in this new coalition. And we, those of us here in the United States, will lose everything. Oh, sure, we'll still have to buy their goods because we depend upon them, and Trump will still have the tariffs, so we'll still pay a higher cost for that. But our goods here in the United States that are already having a hard time selling overseas, just ask any farmer, we will lose those markets. Farmers who are already facing financial ruin, which is exactly what they told Congress about 3 weeks ago, they're going to go under. They will lose everything. Manufacturing here in the United States will go extinct virtually. Because sure, we'll still need to make some things to sell to us here in America, but we're not going to have other countries coming to us knocking on our door saying, hey, can we buy all this stuff from you? Foreign companies that have invested in the United States, or at least pledged, as Trump says, they'll pull out. They'll go with their new trading partners. They'll move their plants to Canada. Maybe they'll move them to Japan or Europe or anywhere else in Asia or perhaps Mexico. The United States, if this coalition does, do what they're hoping to be able to do, the United States will never financially recover from that.
Now, what if half of what this man just said happens for real? What if just half of it happens? Look at the position we're in right this minute. We're in a position where the farmers are failing at a crazy rate. Companies are not hiring. Did anybody see the GDP numbers coming out of January? Now, here's the funny thing. The GDP coming out of January was 1.4%. We need upwards of 3-4% to be considered a growing economy. Sounds like a damn good plan. Yeah, well, it is a good plan for them. It is absolutely a good plan. But we are in a position where if only half of that happens, if only half of it happens, we will be in such bad shape. Love watching Carney walk all over Trump. Yeah, I get a kick out of that too. I get a kick out of Carney. Carney literally just speaks right to Trump. So I get a kick out of that too. But my concern is, just listening to that, my concern is the position we're in right now. We're on shaky ground right now. And it's going to get worse because, hey, let's throw in a little bitty thing called the Epstein files. The Epstein files is causing a ripple around the world. And guess what? It's going to come back here. They're going to there's going to be an eruption here over that same issue. But economically speaking, we're already on shaky ground. Companies aren't hiring right now. They're freezing up everything since the tariffs are always changing. So they're not doing major hiring. All of that stuff, all of that money that's been pledged by companies from around the world, you know, them trillions and trillions and trillions, you know, it's going to be trillions and even billions and even millions. Yeah, all of that stuff. See, that's all smoke and mirrors. None of it is actually going on right now today. We're on shaky ground today. If over the next year or 2 years, only half of what this man just said takes place, just half of it, over the next year, 2, 3, we are going to be screwed. And see, here's what I keep trying to let everybody know. The Globetrotters don't care. Trump and the Globetrotters, they don't care because they're rich wherever they land. When you look at these billionaires, they are billionaires wherever their plane lands. They have millions and billions in whatever currency they will need at the time. So they don't care what happens to the dollar. But you and me would be screwed. You know, if the dollar goes the way of the peso in Mexico, we screwed. If they start trading in a currency other than the dollar, and it doesn't take much to get that going. There's already a BRICS currency in the making. There's already a BRICS currency in the making. And BRICS is those countries that join together to start that currency. And I can't remember who is BRICS. BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and whatever the S is. I can't remember. Saudi Arabia, I believe it is. That they have came up with a currency already to replace the dollar. If that catches on, if only half of what this man says catches on, we screwed. We are screwed. And to make matters worse, this clown is talking about going to war in Iran. Now, who in their right mind would want to go to war with Iran now? Or any other time? Iran isn't doing anything to the United States. Nothing. Why would we even be talking about going to war? He sent 2 aircraft carriers now over to the waters around Iran. This man is insane. And you ask, why would we go to war with Iran? There is no reason for the United States to be talking about doing anything in Iran. Now he comes up talking about, oh, we're going to help the people of Iran. You ain't helping the people of the United States. How you going to help the people of Iran? Explain that one to me. How was sending these warships over there going to help anything? Why would we be going to Iran? This is why we'd be going to Iran.
If the United States goes to war with Iran in the near future, it will not be because Tehran actually threatens America. It will be because Israel and its powerful lobby in the U.S. have succeeded in creating an essentially false casus belli to mandate such action. Well, the United States has been driving drunk for quite some time, and that dangerous behavior has to some extent been encouraged by Israel and its many supporters in Washington. I also would not doubt that Israel, accustomed to behaving with impunity towards its alleged friend and patron in Washington, might manufacture a pretext to draw the U.S. into a new conflict. Israel, which relies on Washington for billions of dollars in aid and also for political cover in international fora like the UN, does not spy discreetly, largely because it knows that few in Washington will seek to hold it to account. Israel, where government and business work hand in hand, has obtained significant advantage by systematically stealing American technology with both military and civilian applications. The GAO concluded that Israel conducts, and this is a quote, conducts the most aggressive espionage operation against the United States of any U.S. ally. So the answer to the question, is Israel an ally of the United States, is most definitely no.
That's why we'd be going to war with Iran. That's the only reason we would be going to war with Iran. Because there is no other reason for the United States to have any conflict with Iran. They're not threatening us in any way. The only time they rattle their sabers is when we get involved in their politics. When we get involved in their politics, they start rattling their sabers. And yes, they do have a vendetta against Donald Trump. Because in Trump's first iteration, he killed one of their most beloved generals. And they have not forgotten about it. Now, I only wish that they could somehow take their disdain for him out on him. But unfortunately, he is hell-bent on getting us into a conflict with them. Excuse me. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, there's going to be a lot of young men from red states that's going to have to go and fight this battle. I hope they thought about that when they voted. I hope they thought about that when they voted. Because if we go to war, you're going to have some boots on the ground. This is not going to be some fast thing where you fly over with the jets and drop a bunch of bombs and it's over with. This is going to spill out like nothing else. Because the last time they bombed what were supposed to be nuclear sites. Right? We destroyed the nuclear sites. Oh, hey, okay, take care. We'll talk to you later, Carmen. Have a good one. But the last time they bombed what was supposed to be nuclear sites. And this time, They're talking about bringing the war. Well, when you bring the war, you got to actually get involved in the war. You know, a war ain't going to be 3-4 days. It's not going to be like that. These people have been warring for 1,000 years. The people in that region have been warring for 1,000 years. So it's not going to be a few days and it's over with. I hope somebody talks this guy out of it. I hope somebody talks him out of it, because the only reason for the U.S. to be involved in anything in Iran right now has got to be Israel, because Netanyahu wants it. There's no other reason. And you're going to have the young Republicans of today twisting and turning, trying to explain why this is a good idea. They're going to be doing all kind of twisting in front of the cameras to explain why this makes sense. This doesn't make any sense. Now, somebody might say, well, Iran has nuclear capability. How many years we've been hearing that? We've been hearing that for 20 years. I tell you what, if I'm not mistaken, last year, Trump said they bombed all of their nuclear facility sites. I thought you got rid of their nuclear capability. Why do you need to be in nuclear talks if you got rid of their nuclear capability? I haven't heard anybody ask them that question yet. Who's going to ask them the question? Hey, last year you said you bombed all of their facilities. You said you wiped out their capability. So what are they negotiating with you? So the nuclear thing is not a reason. The nuclear thing ain't the reason. So hopefully somebody will talk him out of this. Hopefully there'll be some breakthrough. Netanyahu hopped on a plane and ran over here quick as he could, lickety split, to say something. So maybe something went down, that calmer heads prevailed. Hopefully that's the case. We'll find out. There is a State of the Union speech tomorrow night. Everybody, y'all gotta watch that. This one is gonna be good. This one has to be good because the Supreme Court really pissed him off last week. Last week. The Supreme Court really pissed him off. And I'm going to assume that they're going to be in the House for this State of the Union. I can't wait to hear the lies about how wonderful everything is. He's going to talk about how much money is coming in, how many wonderful things he's done. He's going to lie for however long this thing goes on. We already know that. But it'd be worth it to tune in just to hear the lies that he tells tomorrow night. I intend to watch it. I'm going to have me a nice bottle of my favorite stuff to drink, and I'm going to watch it, and I'm probably going to get a good laugh out of it. Yeah, hey, you know what? I tell you what, Rush Limbaugh Rush Limbaugh would have been one of those people who could have explained all of this away. I'm so glad Rush Limbaugh is not around because Rush Limbaugh could have explained all of this away. He would have had his listeners eating it up. He would have had them believing all of this is perfect. He would have had them he would have explained away the Epstein files, everything. You can't watch it. Well, hey, I'll watch it so you don't have to, okay? I'll watch it so you don't have to, cause it's gonna be good, you know. He's gonna be lying like 40 going north. We already know that. He's gonna be lying, you know. That dude, he lie faster than a cat can lick his own ass. Okay, that's how fast that dude tell a lie. All right, let's just say it the way it is. That dude is something else with the line. So anyway, I'll be tuning in. And it's this tariff thing. And that's another thing I gotta get to y'all, because a lot of people don't understand why this tariff thing is so important. That's what I'm gonna get into Wednesday. Let me write that down right now. Get into the tariff thing on Wednesday, because there's something about the tariffs that a lot of people do not understand. There's something about the tariffs that a lot of people don't understand. And it's really important that I break that down, because there's some ins and outs. So happy Limbaugh never lived long enough to see the damage he helped create. Dude, Jinx, no truer words have ever been spoken. Okay, I am glad he's not around, because he would have basked. He would have been so pleased with this abomination that he helped create. Again, he would have been probably the one person that they would have listened to. He could have told them all of this terrible stuff going on was fine and dandy. It's just trust the process. He would have just had them believe and just trust the process. Matter of fact, like I said, like what went on in Minnesota. Like that shit that went on in Minnesota. Now, remember, they were almost convincing all of MAGA land that killing that woman was not a bad thing. Remember that. They almost convinced MAGA that killing that white woman was okay, because she was a disruptor. She was gay. It's okay to kill a gay woman, even if she is white. Rush Limbaugh would have wiped all that clean. And the thing that stopped all of that, remember what stopped all of that? They killed that white man. You see, when they shot that white man in the back, unarmed, on the ground, face down, that's what stopped it all. Rush Limbaugh could have explained that away. I guarantee you, Rush Limbaugh could have explained that away. That is how brainwashed Rush Limbaugh had his listeners. I'm glad people don't mention him too much. That's my opinion. I'm glad people don't mention him too much. At any rate, that's all I'm going to do tonight. I am going to I'm going to get into the tariff thing. And there's a real important reason this guy is so hell bent on the tariffs. Okay. If you got anything to send me, send it to this email address. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I appreciate it. Should have said that earlier in the game, but I'm old, so I forget these things. When we get back Wednesday, when we come back on here Wednesday, I'm going to get into the tariff thing. Because there's a lot about the tariffs people don't understand. And I meant to get in it tonight, but there was a couple other things I wanted to say and got long-winded. So, at this moment, I'm going to take this moment to get on out of here, call it good. Wednesday, we're going to talk about the tariffs. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me, as usual. Thanks. Come back Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah, excellence in broadcasting. Yeah, that was the dude's spiel, all right. Again, I'm glad that not many people bring him up these days. And I'm also glad that there was nobody that really filled that space. See, that was a void left from that space, and I'm glad that void is still there. So, everybody, I appreciate y'all hanging out. Come back Wednesday so we can get into these tariffs, because that'll be a good one. Because there's some stuff behind the scenes that people don't understand, and we're going to get it out there. So, yeah, like James says, stay prayed up. And you too, Ronnie, you have a good night as well. And I'm out of here. We'll do this again Wednesday. Take it easy.